Hey guys, it's Chemist from Chemist Video, and today we're going to go over an updated view of my gear. We're also going to go over the most popular CM build and the CM build that I use. CM stands for Critical Mass, and that's a passive that wizards can use at level 50. So let's go over my gear first, then we're going to go over, like I said, the most popular CM build because there's a lot of sub builds that fall under that CM category, and we're going to go over my CM build. But I digress. First, we're going to start with my wand. I have a Shantoto's Will. I make sure I look for that 0.25 bonus to attack speed with a socket. There comes a random magic property that comes on the will, and I always make sure that's a socket. So when you search for Shantoto Wills or Shantoto's Will, you're always going to put under that preferred stat it has to have a socket. If it doesn't have a socket, it's really not worth your time to invest in it. I get the set, which means I go with the Shantoto's Force. This also comes with another random magic property. And you want that random magic property to roll APOC, which stands for Arcane Power on Crit. And if you see, you'll see the second stat from the bottom is critical hits grant 8 arcane power. That's the same thing as APOC. It's just it's an acronym that is widely used. It's vernacular in the game. It has good average damage on it with decent intelligence, good intelligence. It rolls 8 to 9 IES, which is increased attack speed. You'll see that attack speed increased by 9, another term acronym used in the game. I always make sure I get the top of that stat to 8 to 9 attack speed. I make sure I get the top. And there's one or two reasons I wouldn't get 9, and we'll go over that when we see the final piece of my gear. But I did go ahead and get the 9 on there with 8 APOC, which makes my total APOC, 8 plus 9 over here, which makes it have 17. My attack speed is 3.02, so I meet the 3.01 breakpoint, which means that 17 APOC is just fine. Normally you want to go for 18, but again, since my attack speed is so high, it's okay that I rock one lower than most other CM Wizzes. Now, a lot of CM Wizzes have Zuni set, which is a Zunimasu's Trail and Zunimasu's Pox. Now, I know I needed a trifecta ring, which means attack speed, crit chance, and crit damage on my ring to have the damage I wanted, the DPS I wanted on my character. In order to do that, I really couldn't get a Zunimasu's set or the Pox and the Trail, which really makes which is the only reason you would get the boots in the first place. Because as y'all look at AH, you'll see that the first set bonus for the Zuni set is 130 intelligence, which makes the set usable. Okay, if you just got the boots and you got the ring, and not having that extra 130 intelligence, then Ice Climbers would be better. It would give you a better DPS upgrade. But you see, I went with a lot of intelligence, a lot of main stat, and a lot of VIT. Um, Ice Climbers automatically roll 70, 90, or 70 to 80 res all. They also roll 10 to 12% life. So having Ice Climbers gives me a big life upgrade and a big automatic EHP upgrade or protection upgrade without having to look for it on an extra stat on the Zunimasu's Trail. So you see, I have about 230 that's 230, or excuse me, 330 intel with almost 140 bit, 12% life, 79 resol. They come with a bunch of random magic stats. This one I got a long time ago, so that 24% extra gold from monsters actually counted at the time. I'm Paragon 100, so I really don't need that anymore. We'll go up to my pants. Other wizards use Blackthorns. I use Innis for the attack speed and the crit chance. It also gives me movement speed. And since I didn't roll movement speed on my boots, which some wizards do for their Zunimasu's Trail, it automatically comes with movement speed. I definitely want that. And it also comes with 2 sockets all the time. Now, of course, I got Intel and Vit on my Innis. Since I got decent stats of both, I went ahead and I marked out or marquised out 2 of my Intel gems, my Topazes, and socking them in my Ennis. Let's go up to my Witching Hour I use for a belt. And again, I use this as for attack speed. Now, almost every class uses Witching Hour. Some barbs might not. They want to use their IK belts for the life steal and the EHP, but again, my attack speed 3.02. It's so high, and the only way it can be so high is if I have attack speed on almost every piece of gear I can get it on. Has decent CD 48, so it's almost that 50, that top. I went with DPS on this belt. And I actually had a VIT one, a intelligence Resol and VIT one, but instead I actually dropped the VIT and I went with high intel and Resol just to make it affordable. Let's go to my main ring. Has good intel, good VIT, 6 IES, 45 CD, 5 CC, and almost 200 armor. Now you see, I keep repeating these same terms or acronyms, CC and CD. The CC stands for crit chance or critical hit chance. The CD stands for critical hit damage. Now on rings, you can only roll up to, on gold rings, on rare rings, you can only roll up to 50 CD, which is that critical hit damage, and 6 CC, which is that critical hit chance. But you can roll 9 IAS. The way I built my gear, I try to get IAS on everything, IAS, increase attack speed on everything. However, the things that I couldn't max out on it, I made sure I got good stats for the rest of the. I got good other stats. That's why I got the armor on this ring. That's why I got high CD and decent CC on this ring. Now we're gonna go to my off ring, my offhand ring, which is my life on hit ring. Now, because I don't rock Blackthorns, I don't get that extra life on hit, so I'm going to need to find it somewhere else. The only places you can roll it, other than getting like a Stormcrow for a helm or Blackthorns for pants, are going to be your Ammies. You can actually get them on some gloves, and your rings. I got a great trifecta ring here with 460 life on hit, 6 IS that increased attack speed, 49, which is the almost perfect 50 CD, and 4 CC ring. It's a very, very nice ring. I got it for a steal at the time. Let's move up to my Lukunis, my Lukuni Prowlers. Again, I get this for IAS, increased attack speed. Now, I've rolled bracers that have come with 300 main stat, like 70 plus res all, almost 300 armor and 5.5 CC. So they're great, great bracers, but I need the attack speed on. That's why I have to buy Lukunis. I got good intel and good VIP, 9 IAS. Again, these are another thing that roll 8 to 9. I made sure I got the top, and I got 5.5 CC. Now, some of y'all might say, why did you get 6 CC? I'll tell you why. Because in order to get the stats of 72 intel or an 86 bit or anything really above 70 and 70 of each, and to get 6 CC with 9 AS, it literally doubles the price. Okay, it doubles the price. So I paid 350 mil for these Lacunis. I would have had to pay minimum 650, 700 mil. 700 mil for Lacunis with 6 CC with comparable stats. Let's move to my gloves. I actually just purchased these gloves yesterday. It has really great intel, some poison resistance, a little bit of protection with the dex, which helped me out. My dex is still very low. With 9 IS, again, I rolled the top IS, increased attack speed I can on gloves, 45 CD, which is that crit hit damage, and 8.5 CC. So these are very good gloves. These are damage gloves. The gloves I went from had VIT on them, but very low intel with like 49 CD. So it was actually a big damage upgrade, just adding about 100 intel, but I had to lose the VIT. My HP is still over 4,600, or excuse me, 46,000. So I'm fine on my life. I just really needed to boost my damage. Let's look at my shoulders. I crafted these. I got very lucky. My fourth craft. I have some strength, which adds armor. I have high intel, 306 main stat, which is a very, very good DPS upgrade. I rolled res all and armor on top of the strength, which makes these almost identical to Vile Wards. I did roll percent life, which again makes them identical to Vile Wards because wards vials can roll that, and I did roll regen or life regenerate life per second, which again all Vile Wards roll. So this was a really a lucky roll, a good roll for me. Of course, I don't need the regen. It's funny looking at these shoulders, which are almost identical to Vile Wards, except for the fact that Vile Wards can't roll over 300 of a main stat. That's why you want to go with crafted shoulders. You want to try to make those. We're going to go to my Tao's chest. This was not crafted. Um, Now, the reason I got this chest and I didn't go for more main stat with more resol is because I got it at a steal. I got this for 100 mil. I call it a snipe. It had only been on AH maybe for a few minutes, because it still said 1 hour and 1 day and 11 hours. But almost 140 intel, over 180 vit with 54 resol. And again, this is another item that rolls 8 to 9 IAS, increased attack speed. I went with the 9. All Tao's chests come with 3 sockets. All set chests come with 3 sockets. So because of that, I got to put 3 Marquise Topaz gems in them. My second to last piece of gear is going to be my amulet. It took me almost 700 tries to get an amulet I could use, much less be decent for my whiz. Now you saw on my offhand ring I had 460 life on hit. This one I have 844 life on hit, which gives me just over 1300 LOH. That's the acronym we use for life on hit. It gave me 330 plus main stat. And again, craftable items, bind on account craftable items are the only items that can roll more main stat than anything else in the game. It gave me some strength, which again is armor, which is protection, I digress. That intel, that 330 intelligence, is almost like getting 30 resol on your piece of armor. I rolled 9 IS, which I needed for my build. I rolled 9.5 CC, which I needed for my build. And I rolled 844 life on hit, which I needed for my build. So although I'm losing a lot of DPS with this amulet makes my build work. It makes everything just move in a synchronized way forward. Now, we've talked about meeting your attack speed breakpoints, always, picking the higher end of attack speed. And you see I hit 3.02. Until about 2 weeks ago, I was at 3.04. And the reason I hit that attack speed threshold is because I knew that as soon as I could afford or get a Mimpo with 6 CC, I was going to do it, no matter if it rolled 8 to 9 IAS, because I knew that as soon as I could afford one that had 8 IAS, I would still hit breakpoint. And that's because I maxed out attack speed on every other piece of my gear. So donated to the stream was a 6cc Intel Mimpo. It had, middle of the pack life, middle of the pack resol, decent Intel, low side, but still decent. 8 IS, but that 6 critical hit chance is what makes it great. Now, Mimpos automatically roll sockets, so of course I put a Marquise Amethyst in it for that percent life. But this is a gem of my, excuse my excuse my entendre. This is a gem of my collection, my 6cc Mimpo. And although it's 8 IAS, this is one of the only reasons you would want to do or pick an item that automatically rolls attack speed, and you want to pick it on the lower end. If you got the max DPS on it, and you can go with the 8 IS, but still make your build work, your break point. You're going to hit all your break points. Then go for it, because this is an awesome item. Now we're going to talk about the most popular CM build. Okay, as you see, the build that I have on right now, it has Frost Nova, Bone Chill. And we're going to just hit skills so y'all can look at it this way. Frost Nova, Bone Chill, which is the most popular rune for Frost Nova for a critical mass wizard, critical mass wicked wind wizard. Explosive blast, chain reaction, which is the most popular. Diamond skin, diamond shards, and the reason they pick diamond skin, diamond shards is because when diamond skin wears off, it'll say it'll explode with 210% weapon damage as physical to nearby enemies, which is great because that'll crit on them as well. So that adds a crit, which makes their build work, and we're going to go over the passive to critical mass and see what actually says in a moment. Then you get storm armor with shocking aspect, and again, every crit hits have a chance for the for lightning from the sky to come down and hit an enemy, which can also crit on the enemy, which again resets your cooldown. And so let's look at that passive, that critical mass passive that everyone uses. Let's see what it says. Critical hits have a chance to reduce the cooldown of your spells by 1 second. Now, if your attack speed's really high and your crit hit chance is really high, that means those cooldowns can be reset almost instantly, which makes the crit mass build work. Now, I can go into 100 different crit mass builds that wizards can use, but this is the most popular one, and it comes with what you have to use under this build is Wicked Wind of Energy Twister. Wicked Wind, it puts down a little tornado, but the tornado stays in place. And because of that, and because you have them frozen constantly, it'll constantly hit and tick on them. And that's again why I picked the Marquise Ruby on my Shantoto's Force, or excuse me, my Will. Because I wanted those tornadoes, because I put down so many of them, to do a lot of damage, do more damage than my crits. Now I went over the most popular CM build. I'm going to go over my CM build. Because I meet a 3.01 attack speed, I'm going to go ahead and change up some of my skills. I'm going to keep Energy Twister, Wicked Wind, Teleport, Safe Passage, but now I'm going to go to Frost Nova, and instead of Bone Chill, I'm going to go to Cold Snap, which reduces the cooldown by 3 seconds, which is a very, very big bonus. Now we're going to go to Explosive Blast. And instead of Chain Reaction, although Chain Reaction procs 3 times, which means it can crit 3 times for one cast, because my crit chance is so high, I'm going to go to Short Fuse, which instead of taking like a 1.5 second time to explode, it's going to explode instantly as soon as I hit it. Now we're going to go to Diamond Skin, and instead of Diamond Shards, we're going to go to Crystal Shell. And this, instead of exploding with an added attack, it'll double up on how much damage you can take, which is great for my build. Since I have lower Resol, I can survive a lot more. And then instead of Storm Armor, I'm going to go to Energy Armor. Now, a lot of people say, why do you go to Energy Armor? And I say, well, I could use Prismatic for the Resol, or I could go to Pinpoint. Now, I pick Pinpoint, and I'll show you why. Although it raises my DPS by 13k, I don't do it for the just straight paper damage. I do it because now I have 59 CC. That means almost 60% of the time, 60% of the time I attack, I am critting. That doesn't guarantee, 6 out of 10 times I'm going to crit, or 3 out of 4 times. Or almost 3 out of 4 times, 6 out of 10, which is 3 out of 5, excuse me. But it doesn't mean that every 6% time, every 60, every 3 out of 5 times I'm going to crit, but it means that's the chance I have to crit, and that makes the build work. High attack speed and a high crit chance is going to make your critical mass wizard work, and of course you have to have life on hit or a life steal in some other way. Now I'm going to go over what follower attributes you want. Now for the build I just went over, my that SNS build, which stands for shock, NATO, shards, and of course is that shocking aspect, that tornado, that's a NATO, and shards, a diamond skin shards. You're going to want your scoundrel to have this hysteria that I like a lot. You don't want more paper damage, which is just going to read on your DPS meter. You want to have actual damage, which instead of raising your crit chance by 3, you're going to have just a 10% bonus to damage every time you crit. It can go on once every 5 seconds. Now, when I rock my what I call a perma-freeze build, which is the build I just showed y'all, I'm going to actually change my attributes on my scoundrel to the critical chance passive, which automatically raises my CC by 3, which I'll show you. And it doesn't really matter what you pick on the rest of them, because since it's a passive, he can die, and your scoundrel still has that passive going on for you. That actually raised my paper DPS to 280,000 deeps, or damage per second. I still hit that 3.02 attack speed, but now I have 62 CC with that base of 54. That's an extra bonus. That's great. Now I can literally permanently freeze any one enemy in the game except for Ubers. That means I will never let a gob get away. If I'm fighting an elite pack and every minion dies, I'm gonna hit that champion and make sure I permafreeze that champion. That champion will not move. That's again why I wanted that Marquise Ruby. I wanted to make sure all those ticks did way more damage than the crit, since I'm putting down so many twisters. But again, this is a perma-freeze build. This is a build that not a lot of people use. However, it's my build. This is the build that I've kind of critiqued myself. I've made love. I love this build with all my heart, because I break the game. I make the game stand still. Nothing in the game can really touch me at this point. I don't do the outrageous damage that an SNS build, the first build I showed you, did. However, I break the game, and that's what I love about Diablo, and that's what I love about playing my critical mass wizard. No matter what, I make sure they stay still, and no matter what, I can kill them without them killing me. But again, thanks for taking the time to watch this video. Make sure you check out the stream. The Twitch URL is in the settings or the options right under the video. Thank you again for your time, everyone. Have a great day, and remember to follow, because we'll be coming out with way more gems.